Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and they are off. Alright, everybody, welcome to SPM's tournament, our Pit Percent tournament, hosted by PTL and Teddy. So, let me just move my mouse, sorry. Oh, whoops. There we go. Sorry, I moved my splits over onto the other screen. So as you guys know, given the start of the speedrun, there's going to be about 5 minutes worth of the cutscenes that kind of describe what's going on, why Mario and Luigi are trying to find Princess Peach. I think Bowser has her, turns out Count Bleck has her, and it goes way deep into the story that you would normally play all the way through, but we're going to completely forget about the story in this speedrun. We're just going to complete Chapter 1 and run straight to the Pit of 100 Trials. Also, you will have to forgive me a little bit. I am feeling a little sick. But I'm going to do my best to commentate for you guys. So going over a little bit about the tournament, I believe this is bracket 2, I'm not too sure. I should really be up to date with that. Castle and Zach fighting over here. But these two gamers have been doing really well. JCR is also, he's very new to Pit Percent, but he is also very experienced in any percent, while GamerSquiddy is very experienced in Pit Percent and kind of new to any percent. So it's kind of on GamerSquiddy's playing field a little bit for this tournament. So he is going to naturally have a little bit of advantage because he is pretty practiced. But JCR is going to have a little bit of an advantage also because he has a lot more experience running the game. So he's a lot more comfortable with the movement tech and all that extra really nice any percent knowledge of the game. So it'll be really interesting to see how these two play out. You can go ahead and place your bets in the chat who you think's going to take the win, take the W. Nobody? Oh man. Yeah, I'll just look over the schedule real quick. Ooh-wee. So right now we got Squiddy versus JCR. It's tonight. It's right now. And then tomorrow we have Mohawk versus Teddy. So that'll be really exciting. Mohawk is a very seasoned Pit Percent runner, and he's very consistent at this game. Teddy actually just got the world record from Mohawk yesterday, so that'll be really fun. Yeah, this will be really entertaining to watch. It's definitely not winner takes all the marbles, because it's not usually how Pit Percent works, but it'll be really fun to watch some of our higher level speedrunners do Pit Percent. Of course, Zach's gonna win. And I think he might have the advantage over Mohawk. I think he has disc as well, Teddy. But as you can see so far, GamerSquiddy is already a little bit of ahead. Squiddy's really good at mashing, as you can notice. There's a lot of text mashing here. So JCR falling slightly behind, but he'll probably catch up once we get to the later parts of the run, coming up here in the next 5 or so minutes. Or 4, sorry. 4 or so minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. Hey Mohawk, welcome. Good to see you. We're just talking about you. Oh, you've had Virtual Console. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, that would be a terrible disadvantage. Yeah, for the safety of this tournament, I'm pretty sure everybody swore off running Japanese, because there is that small chance that you could crash, and you don't want to. It's not really a good idea to crash during a marathon setting. So you will notice that they are going to be taking slightly different routes. GamerSquiddy tends to grab a couple more mushrooms, whereas JCR is just going from point A to point B, hoping for the best, trying to get there as fast as he possibly can. So you'll probably notice that JCR will catch up here in a little bit. However, this won't be a problem for GamerSquiddy, as he'll be very well prepared once he enters the Pit of 100 Trials. Sounds good, Zach. Running crash percent. Oh gosh. So in these two rooms here, you'll notice that they're grabbing a bunch of different items. They grabbed a shell shock, and they grabbed a mushroom shake and a fire burst. So the mushroom is just for extra healing inside the Pit of 100 Trials. The shell shock is specifically for a headbot Goomba room, which I'll point out later. It's in the much later floors of the Pit of 100 Trials. And the fire burst is actually to make a spicy soup, which we need to wake up Peach in pre-chapter 2. GamerSquiddy's collecting a few extra coins. Let's see if JCR is going for it. No, he decides to go past it. This is almost caught them up. Or, this is almost get... Holy cow, words are so hard. And this has almost helped JCR catch back up to GamerSquiddy. Oh, JCR gets a fast flower. This is interesting. So JCR might actually pull ahead here. However, points might be a little difficult to grind. And JCR sticking with 20k points, which he should be able to complete the pit with no issues. But that's given him a significant lead on GamerSquiddy. Oh, looks like Squiddy had some issues getting some points as well. No, actually, no, he did pretty well. Because 30k is about the maximum you can get on a normal point grind. So it wasn't a perfect grind, but Squiddy had he had a pretty decent point grind. JCR kind of had a little bit of a struggle, but as anybody knows, using the fast flower is kind of a struggle when grinding points here. Yeah, a little over 30k. A little over 30k. Around 35k is what Mohawk says for the points that you could grind to. JCR already starting in 1-2. Grabs a mushroom here and a couple extra coins. Kicks the Koopa shell. And he's already down into the secret hallway. GamerSquiddy right behind him. It'll be interesting to see whether these two go for the shop, the cloud coins. It's always interesting seeing their different routes. It looks like JCR is just going straight. Yep, he's going straight to the shop, which is the smart move to play here. There are a little more than there's a little more than extra coins than you need on the clouds, but it seems that GamerSquiddy is going to be going for these coins here. I'm curious to see what he's going to be buying inside the shop, but we'll find out here in a second. So that just basically gave Squiddy an extra 33 coins that JCR won't be able to have when he goes into the shop. Oh yeah, I can do that. Castle. Hello, hello. How's it going, Castle? Can you guys hear Castle just fine? Let me turn push to talk off. Hold on. Can you hear me? Turn them up a little bit? Okay. Okay. There shouldn't be any echoing with the game audio, is there?
No, I'm stream muted.
Okay, cool. Is there an echo? Hmm.
Not at all. Or at least not for me. Okay, so for 1-2, as you can see, both the runners did different routes. JCR skipped the cloud coins, which Squiddy went and got the cloud coins, so he could buy extra heals. So JCR is already going to get throw, while Squiddy's still buying heals. Typically, in any percent, you do a trick called life stream jump, or at least most people do, or a lot of people do. But in this category, since you need extra points, it's actually a lot slower.
That should fix the echo. Is that better?
It's been fine the whole time.
Oh, my voice is echoing.
So over the run, throw sadly will not be used that much after you get Boomer, because Boomer is just better to use, and there's so many different strategies you could use throw for, but they're not quite optimal.
Alright, this should have gotten rid of the echo. Sorry about that, guys. So I didn't notice. Did you catch that, Castle? Who went to the shop? What did I miss while I was fixing all that?
Well, I didn't see exactly what they bought, but I know JCR. I don't think JCR bought any heals, and then I think Squiddy bought like 2 heals or something.
Oh, okay. So they both went to the shop, correct? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Way nice. Way nice. So made good use of those extra coins they went and grabbed. Looks like GamerSquiddy is going to be slightly extra prepared, but that'll give JCR quite a bit of a lead here coming out of 1-2.
Fortunately for JCR, though, the mashing kind of gives them a bit of a disadvantage for these upcoming areas like 1-4, entered 2, and the boomer cuts. But past that, it's really all just pure skill and some art.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, we gotta teach JCR some mashing lessons. GamerSquiddy is just really good with hitting those 1 and 2 buttons as fast as he can. But I guess not everybody was born playing Cookie Clicker.
Those days of intense competitive Minecraft paid off.
Absolutely true.
I'd say JCR is roughly in a 30-second lead here. Well,
Yeah.
because he's a lot riskier, and like we said, Squiddy's playing a lot safer. So actually, something coming up here on JCR's screen, he's doing a little mini grind so we can get roughly 12,000 points. So we're going to typically want more pits, or more points entering the pit, because you can soft lock as early as Room 19 if you don't have proper items or proper, what's it called, points. So they need to be at 60k by at the least 425, or else it's a soft lock.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the main reasons why you're going to see them getting a bunch of points here. Or like, for normal any percent runs, you want to get as much points as possible, but you also want to limit yourself due to certain tricks. And pit percent, you want to get as many points as possible, because not only does that mean more health, it means more attack. And the higher your damage output, the faster you can get through the pit of 100 trials. And like Castle said, if you don't have enough points, there's certain enemies you can't damage, and if they have the key, you can soft lock.
In other words, it's time to say goodbye.
Exactly. Nice little fun little skip with the coconut jump. Just a bunch of quick little methods from getting from point A to point B.
The intended way is gross. It probably loses at least 20 seconds because the animations are long, to say the least.
Yeah, Andric did a timing method of it a long time ago. It loses between 16 to 20 seconds. It's ridiculous. And then JCR is going to go ahead and start the O-Chunks fight. Doing well so far.
Literally,
I think he's got it.
Yeah, he just had a flawless O-Chunks fight.
Yeah,
so
he nailed it.
Basically, you kind of want to like throw him into the right-hand corner, and you want to like do full jumps and stylish, so you can get those extra points that, like we said, are very, very needed for later on.
Absolutely. Squiddy also doing very well. Not as quite as clean as JCR's O-Chunks, but also very fast. JCR is about to do a trick called Ice Triple Skip. He's got a perfect setup. And is he going to get the jump?
He did it.
He nailed it. Nice.
So let's hope that both runners will get this. Let's hope Squiddy has this in the bag.
Yep. Squiddy's gotten very good at Ice Triple Skip. We'll see if he gets it here.
It takes a little while to master the trick, but after you've practiced enough, you get really used to it, and eventually it's just very consistent for you.
He nailed it. Well done, Squiddy.
So, upcoming here is a level known as 1-4. So, this level, typically you're going to be solving a puzzle in each room to receive a key to unlock the next room. But I don't know if either one of these runners will be doing this trick, but it's a trick called key early, or as I like to call it, blue switch skip. So one of the keys coming up, so not the first key that you bring up, but the second key, you have to go into the door in the top right corner, and you have to hit the switch with the squig, or you can use throw to hit it as well. So what you're doing is you're skipping that entire room, which saves roughly 20 seconds. And basically it's just done by going to the quicksand, performing a corner clip, and then seam walking all the way out of bounds onto the left seam, going onto the small little block hit boxes, jumping onto the other blocks, and then grabbing the key.
Yep, it's actually really funny. JCR and I are the ones that found this trick, and neither one of us actually do this trick in runs. But it seems almost every single other runner does this trick in runs. It's quite ironic. Oh, looks like he's going for it.
Pull it off really, really well.
That was a clean corner clip. And then he's going to try to work his way out of bounds and get onto the seam. Climbs up, grabs the key, and he got it. Nice.
Good job, JCR. That was really clean.
That was a perfect example of key early or blue switch skip. Also, if anybody out there is just joining us as well, this game is played on the Wii, so you'll notice a lot of motion controls along the that these guys will be using. JCR just had to use Tippy to activate that door right there, and then GamerSquiddy's coming right behind him.
This race is looking pretty interesting because, like we said, Squiddy does have a slight advantage for two reasons: mashing, and he has a lot more practice in pit. But JCR is playing really well, and he did a bit of skips for items. Like he skipped getting extra stuff so he could pull a little bit farther ahead. He also performed blue switch skip, which is, like we said, really cool, optimal, saves 20 seconds.
High risk, high reward. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see who actually pulls ahead at the very end. Because like I said in the very beginning, JCR does have his any percent skills of getting from point A to point B as fast as possible. But Squiddy really knows how to navigate the pit of 100 trials. He's very comfortable with it, and he can travel as fast as he can.
So, just for anyone who doesn't know, all codes in this game are, I'm pretty sure every code in this game is all set. I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay, thank you. So these runners are both just going to be remembering any code needed. For example, that block code, which is third block, first block, fourth block, second block. Typically, if this were an any percent run, this would be used in like 5 different places. But since it's just pit percent, we're only doing the one in 1-4.
Yep. Yeah, there's lots of memorizing little codes everywhere. For newer runners, you can either memorize a huge long code or do a super difficult trick that saves 10 to 12 seconds. Oh, it's crazy. Nice, Zach.
Some of these things with... Okay, how do I explain this? Some of these things are really hard, but for other runners it's really easy. It's just a matter of just practicing. So, for anyone who might be new to speedrunning out there, just the thing with speedrunning is you just gotta practice, practice, and practice till you can get everything down good and fast. Just don't cheat.
Absolutely.
So here at Fractale, I don't know if these are going to be doing a damage boost right into Fractale's head, which is it's a cool trick that saves roughly 2 seconds. It's really, really good. It was pretty funny when Zach found it. So JCR, I think he's going for it. He's definitely going for it. So he's gonna. I'm not sure where he's gonna line himself up. He's gonna. So if you actually look to Mario's direct right, you'll see that it's kind of like an arrow formation almost. So he's gonna line himself up with that. So he's at about a perfect distance away. So Fractale comes up really close, and then they meet right exactly where he comes in bounds. Also, so these runners are doing a Fractale manipulation for the Frackles. They're standing in a very specific spot, so they can get the Frackles to spawn in consistently, so they're not like jumping around waiting for them to spawn, which I think we've all learned is kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, a lot of things in this game run off of RNG. Most things you'll actually find out they don't run off of RNG. Actually, like these little Frackles, the way they spawn, it actually relies on where Mario is standing, not actual RNG value itself. So it feels like randomness because of the like there's like sub pixels in this game where like you can barely even like Mario might not even have like a walk animation, and you can like move over one sub like pixel and it'll change where these Frackles will spawn. But if you stand in a general area, you can manipulate where they spawn. Like if you notice that GamerSquiddy standing right on that scale in the back of his head, they're all just spawning right in that little clump right there.
So gladly, none of these runners fell off Fractale, which is a pain when you do. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. It's like it's just a thing that it either happens or it doesn't.
Yep,
Which
very
typically
true.
doesn't. Gladly. So both of these runners have just had a strong, very very strong chapter 1, both going into pre-chapter 2 and 2-1 on a decent pace, still not even that far away from each other.
Yep. Yeah, I've noticed that they're both right around the exact same. Like they're both very prepared in their own different ways. They both have around 40k points, which is pretty good. Could be a little better, but the thing is that they're both on the same playing field. JCR being slightly ahead, but GamerSquiddy is just gonna absolutely kill it once he gets to the pit of 100 trials. We'll see how that all happens or how it all turns out. But this is a really neck and neck race. I'm actually really curious to see what's going to happen once they get inside the pit. It is neck and neck. I absolutely agree. Both finishing right under 30 minutes.
The key is to just like make sure that you're playing consistent and just like play safer if you really need to. Like there's no point in trying to rush yourself when you're doing a race like this. You just gotta like sometimes just gotta take your time and just like go through the run and just not worry about saving time or not worry about like getting really far ahead.
Yeah, because usually when you stress about saving time or pushing further ahead, you'll start to get reckless, and once you get reckless, you'll notice you start taking more damage, and then that slows you down, and then you could even lose your run as well. So it's all about mindset. It's Can't let the other runner get inside your head. You gotta stay focused on playing consistent, killing as many enemies as fast as you possibly can. The interlude speed strats. Most of this is just dialogue. Get Peach from one end to the other. There's not too much going on here. Most of this is just cutscenes and basic movement. Who can get closer to the center door?
I like to call this part Enter Cramper 2.
Yeah, seriously.
Because you're
so much dialogue.
Cramped in chapter 1, and then you go into chapter 2 being like, okay, this will be good. And then you're just like, oh yeah, this is good. And then 2-4 rolls along, and you're just like, I don't like this game anymore.
Absolutely.
So gladly, unlike any percent and 100% and literally all other categories, a lot less of this category is mashing, which like you can lose so much time to mashing like alone, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But like, you just gotta learn that mashing still isn't everything. You still have to play good. You still have to get everything consistently.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So, little scary thing, but JCR almost went off the left edge, which probably would have brought Squiddy right back in the stick.
It's funny. Yeah, that would have definitely given Squiddy a major catch up there. But that would have been really funny if he fell off the edge there. So, a bunch of stuff that's going to go on here. You're going to come see Merlin, tell him that you found the extra pure heart, and as soon as you're talking to him, somebody's going to come in and interrupt and say, hey, a lady fell from the sky. So, and
lady from the sky!
Instead of going to check it out, we're going to go make a spicy soup because we're going to know that she's going to need it later. There are huge flies in here, and they're bugging the crap out of me.
Dude, this fruit flies everywhere. So this is an example of like what we said earlier with like the 1-4 code. You're gonna be using prior knowledge to help the game, and you're gonna be doing stuff out of order than the game typically intended for you to do.
Yeah, because normally you wouldn't know that you're going to need a spicy soup here, but as you can see, JCR is just going straight to the cooking shop. He's going to make the spicy soup, and then he's going to head over to see Peach so that he doesn't have to make 2 trips. 2007 Wiimote. So like we said earlier, JCR is already over here. He's going to talk to Princess Peach, wake her up, and give her a spicy soup.
So I think Zach brought something up, a bit of a meme, but some people in this game use a Wii wheel for running this game because it gives the controller a bit more weight, and plus I'm pretty sure it helps a lot of people with deck smashing. The Wii wheel, great meme, great to use. Actually, my Wii wheel right beside me, you can hear its B button.
That's funny. Yeah, I know Alamo uses it because the regular Wiimote hurts his hands.
Dang, we don't even have a bot for the SPM community yet.
Also, Zach, if you would like to jump into the commentating section, you could take over, and then I'll just mute myself for a little bit.
So right here, JCR is now going to head over to the pre-chapter 2 art pillar. So this is going to be like another tiny little example of prior knowledge. He knows the block's there, and instead of like going around reading all these signs and stuff, he's just gonna go and pass by everything because that's what a speedrunner does.
Yeah, just knows how to get from point A to point B. So, fun little fact. We're kind of in the works of making like the ultimate pit percent run, and normally you'd just be able to go. So what you're supposed to do, or what the runners are going to be doing, is they're going to go collect Boomer. However, you can actually access the pit right now, now that they have access to the Dusty Key or Princess Peach. So basically, instead of going all the way to Chapter 2-1, collecting Boomer and coming back, you can just jump straight into the pipe, or you can do like a corner clip, or you can do like some weird flip jumps and then fall out of bounds, and then it brings you to the pipe. But there's some crazy collision stuff that we can use to get past those bricks that are on that pipe right there, and we can go straight to the pit. But the odds of completing a run without Boomer is slim to none at this moment. PTL actually has completed one run.
Not like an actual RTA run, but it was just like
Yeah,
start out.
he started at the very
for it.
beginning of the pit. But yeah, he
So our
didn't
main
start front. Sorry, Castle.
I'm sorry too. So the main things that we're gonna be soft locking on if we do Boomless Pit, or we can potentially soft lock on, is the Schlurps. We are probably gonna be a little bit under leveled too. You collect a decent amount of points in 2-1, like a good 1,000 or 2,000 points. So you also gotta remember that if you can't jump on enemies, and if you have spiked enemies and there's no other way to hit them, there are a bunch of cool strategies for hitting spiked enemies, but there are a lot of enemies like Schlurps where you need to feed Boomer to it, which sounds really silly.
You'll see once they get to the pit of 100 trials, but it's pretty true though.
There's very, very little ways to get around that. Like, for example, you can use a catch card on them, and if you capture it, you not only get its card, which is absolutely useless, but you will also potentially get the key. Item drops will also come into play later on in the pits for a lot of rooms. Like, for example, like Anam said earlier, the Shell Shock will be used for the Head Bonk Goomba in room 99, or room 89. If one of these runners gets like an Ice Storm or a Thunder Rage or a Shooting Star or etc., they will be using they'll be using those items in room 98. There's a lot of places where items do come into play to help you complete the run, like in the Koopa Patrol Magic Koopa room. I forgot which one that was. It was like 86, I believe. If you use like a Shell Shock in that room or like a Shooting Star, you can get a massive lead on all these enemies. And like I've been saying, there's so many different strategies to the pit and using items that there's no consistent way of doing it each and every time.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to I'm gonna head out for a little bit. My voice is killing me right now. So Zach will be joining Castle here for commentating here in a little bit. I'll still be here behind the scenes doing all the work. But I will see you guys in a little bit once they're done with their run.
Go for your voice and start.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So the room JCR's in right now, he's just bonking enemies. You want to take out more and more enemies as you go, because when you do that, you're kind of just like, you get your points. And like we've been saying, you want more points by the pit. More points equals higher chance of finishing the room. So Squiddy actually just got a horsetail drop, which is a heal, which will come into play later if he gets hit a decent amount. JCR is already going to get Boomer, so he's just going to kill this guy, and I believe he's just going to stay to the right, which would be the good thing to do. So he's going to be asked a bunch of questions by Boomer, which none of them even matter at all. They don't play any specific role in the story. So JCR had a bit of problems in 2-1, so Squiddy's going to be catching up here a little bit. Like, as you can see, still anyone's game. There's so many different things that could go good or go wrong for each of these runners. It's really, really, really good to see how much a run can change instead of just doing the same stuff over and over again. It's always different. So, a couple things I want to note before the pit, and some things they might be doing before the pit is they're gonna I'm gonna assure you that probably one of them is gonna do HP plus early, which is a really cool trick. Not faster though. Probably loses a bit, like 15 seconds. So in the pit, each and every layout will be the same in terms of where the blocks are gonna be placed, but the doors are not going to be in the same place, and the enemy arrangements are going to be different each and every time as well. Like, for example, if you get, like, your spawn is random as well, so you will always spawn, or if you don't, you will just always spawn in a different place. Enemies will always spawn in a different place of the room. Typically, you want them to be the guy that has the key closest to the door, so you don't have to go on a big goose chase going all the way across the room and then going all the way back, because that is a pain and it loses a lot of time just to run back and forth across the room. So JCR is not going to be doing HP plus early. He's going to be doing a cool little shout swig. It's not really faster, but it's still really cool. Really cool. It's like really, really cool. Really swag. Deserves some big swag points. So these runners are a lot closer than they were back in 1-4 because Squiddy has slightly better mashing, and he also had a lot better of a 2-1 than JCR did. So JCR's entering the pit here, and the first room is just going to be squiglets. They're all one shot, and this is an example of random spawns and where the key is. It's not always consistent, unlike we all wish it could be, but that's just a pit. Room 2 is going to be Goombas, which I find this one is a bit of a pain sometimes. You have to, you always have to go all the way around them quickly. Yo, Zach. So, Jake big in the squiglet room. So far, this is looking like a pretty layout. And right now, it's a good example of where RNG is coming to play. Like, now, Squiddy and JCR aren't even a room apart, just because JCR didn't get the greatest RNG in the Goomba room. So, like I said, this is where RNG is going to come into play, and where it can literally change the race for the runners. So, the room that JCR is in is the only other place in the game where you can find Goombas other than 3-1 in the little old school. Still, pretty quick room, pretty good. Don't worry about anything. So these are just, pretty sure they're just labeled Cherbils, but I like calling them pink Cherbils or sleeping Cherbils. So they, like, if you get hit by their gases, you get put to sleep. Pretty annoying sometimes, but that is kind of just the way that a lot of enemies are in the pit. There is gonna be a lot worse enemies coming up. Not typically soon, but they will be coming up at about 10 or 20 floors. So JCR still is pulling just barely ahead. Still, this race is really anyone's right now. It's really... So this room is just full of squigs and squiglets. Pretty simple. So Squiddy and JCR are both in the last room right here. It's pretty tight right now. They both have the key. They're both entering room 10 now, which will always have a key. Also, JCR is going for a bit of a safe strat here and trying to get heals from these guys. He wants to make sure he can finish his run as well. So Squiddy's going to pull just a bit ahead. Like I said, the pit really makes this anyone's game, so there's no telling what could happen. So JCR got a much better spawn than Squiddy did. He got the spawn in the top left corner, assuring that it was not any of the guys in the top left. Squiddy already got the key. Then you need to pick a boomer. Typically isn't used that much, but it's still a really, really useful thing. So Squiddy or JCR is in the Spike Boombo room. And it also has Parabuzzies too. This is an example of where throw is useful as well. You typically, if you're doing a boomerless pit, you just throw the Paragoombas into the Spike Goombas. Which, although is kind of weird and finicky sometimes since you're in a very small area in the pit, it always turns out okay. So the room JCR is in right now is a typical soft lock room. The Schlurps, they are just like I said, you need to feed Boomer to them in hopes that they give you the key. Which, if they don't give you the key, that's kind of what you want. It's faster. You're not worrying about this stuff. So Squiddy kind of got rough RNG in this room. JCR is going for the combo still. He's, like I said, these runners are trying to get extra points, get whatever they need to get, and do it fast. So these runners are still pretty neck and neck. Because Squiddy is just a little bit ahead. He already has the key to room 15. JCR is falling a little bit behind. He's getting a bit rougher RNG, but if it could be just one mess up that could put JCR back in the lead and Squiddy back behind. So this room, Koopas and Tyloids, one of the easier rooms, gladly. It's typically not too frowned upon because Koopas and Tyloids, what more can you ask for? Like, it's pretty easy. You never really have much of a need to worry about anything. So by the time both these runners get to room 19, there's still so much that can determine who will take the victory here. Like, for example, if one of them gets the Koopa Patrol key, it could change everything. Koopa Patrols take roughly 8 hits, I believe. Pretty annoying enemies. They charge at you, so you have to be behind them at all times. So let's hope none of these runners get Koopa Trolled by the Koopa Troll. So Squiddy did not get Koopa Trolled. Let's hope the best for JCR as well. So this could be a major turning point for JCR where he gets completely thrown off just because Squiddy got the Koopa Troll, or didn't get Koopa Troll key, and he did. But gladly, that didn't happen. They're both moving on to room 20s, to the 20s. So, I believe they're both going to use a Fire Burst. Yes. So gladly, Squiddy got both a Mighty Tonic and the key.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. What was happening?
Okay.
Internet?
I am here. Hello.
Okay, good.
What's your timer at? I just want to make sure the stream is synced for me because my internet's really bad right now.
Timers, I have the stream open and it's about 50, 55, or 51.
50. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good then.
Visual streams open. So for the Boo Room, pretty stupid enemies. You just have to like place Boomer, look away, and the worst part about this is you have to wait each and every time for their hitboxes to reactivate. Because even though they can be like, you can see them at their full brightness, that does not mean they're back in. Fuzzies and Turtles, absolute trash. Trash enemy combos. Fuzzies kind of just like jump around. I don't know if they're actually RNG completely, or if they're somewhat manipulated by your position towards them.
Yeah,
But
I think they're just RNG, from what I can tell.
heard it here, folks. RNG.
So they're actually in the same room now. I think JCR caught up a little bit, from what I can tell.
JCR pulling a bit ahead here, or at least from what I can see. So Squiddy had much greater RNG in the first 20-ish rooms, and JCR been getting a bit better room in the 20s.
Yeah, I found like in pit percent in like races, like time will just start synchronizing, like RNG will start synchronizing over the run because it's not like one person will just get like the best RNG. They'll have like ups and downs in some rooms, and then when you lose time in like the first 10 rooms, you might gain it back in like the next like few rooms.
So I think Squiddy's going to be pulling a decent amount ahead here, unless JCR can get a good key here. But this is just one of those rooms that is just like, oh, it's either you save a lot of time or you lose a lot of time, and it's just really unfortunate. But gladly, JCR got a good key. One of the better keys, at least. Wasn't perfect, but he was still really good. So,
Yeah,
Squiggle.
oh, sorry.
You take it.
Go on.
Okay, so Squiglet room. I feel like it's just you never get the key until like you're on the second half of the room, which is kind of tedious.
Oh, that's a nice drop.
But like, you know, it's just one of those times where it's just like, okay, I guess I just have to accept my fate at this point. So these hammer rows are stupid. So many of the enemies that like so many of the enemy combos in the pit are just like stupid hard for a run like this, which is, well, of course there's gonna be ups and downs like that, but like there's a lot of dumb combos like Clubbas and Magic Koopas and such. So room 29,
Wow, this is bad RNG.
complete RNG, complete garbage from what I can tell. Squiddy unfortunately didn't get the first key. It would have been ideal if he had. It was right beside the door. So JCR had a really good layout, though the guys didn't spawn right by the door.
Yes, so it looks like he's like 20 seconds behind. He shouldn't have went in that pipe actually, because I guess he didn't know the layout well enough, unfortunately. Instead of flipping and going down.
Sometimes that's just a mishap that just happens with a lot of runners. You just accidentally just remember, oh, well.
Yeah, it's hard to remember 100 layouts.
Once you do enough runs and enough practice, you eventually just learn them out typically, and you typically have the strategy stored out in your brain. So,
oh, wow,
JCR
nice.
is getting some extra points right now, I believe. He's taking a bit slower, which allows Squiddy to keep ahead. But you know, he's gonna be a little bit better on points because he's like a good 5,000 off Squiddy's points, even though that's not the biggest problem, but it can lead to problems later on.
This room is actually good for point grinding, but like he got a bad like he got bad enemy spawn places, so he can't really grind.
The long necks are just stupidly annoying, dude.
Yeah. Wow, he's actually pretty low on healing items. Did he not buy that many, or did he use some already?
JCR took the riskier route and only bought fire bursts, I believe.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah.
I think it's
Squiddy,
room 37 that you can get a lot of healing drops, because it's the one with a lot of cherbils, if I remember correctly, or one of the rooms coming up soon.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, JCR got hit by a curse, which is slowing him down by a lot. So this is giving Squiddy a good opportunity to pull really far ahead. So, though...
Oh, 47, okay.
It's the pit. It's still anyone's game. All JCR has to do is just get a bit better RNG, which is... sounds easy on paper, but, like... it's really stupid.
If like he falls off Racktail or something, that's like a minute at the end of the run, so it's like the run can change anywhere basically now. But I hope that no one would fall off Racktail.
I mean, I don't think it's very, very possible to fall. It's possible to fall off Racktail. It's just like, how are you gonna fall off? Because you're using Beach anyways, right? So like,
yeah. Also, Squiddy just got like insane RNG in the Ninja room, or like pretty good RNG. So like, there's a 50%. Okay, I don't think it's exactly 50% chance, but there's like a chance that they die or they stay alive after you kill them. So it's really annoying to kill them. And he actually got through the room very fast.
Either it happens or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Logic,
basically
honestly.
50%. To be honest, it feels like they die less than you kill them. Or, sorry, it feels like they survive less than they die because RNG is just bad all the time.
Also, I don't think anyone else has seen this, but I've had ninjas just like completely just like throw their stars through the floor and hit me, which is some of the dumber things I've ever seen while running this game. So Squiddy's ending out these 10 sets of rooms. I'd say about 45 seconds ahead, depending on how good JCR's RNG pulled out here.
I think he's like so, 2 rooms ahead, yeah.
JCR just leveled up. He's at 90,000 points now. Still
Nice.
behind Squiddy, but he is actually came closer in points now.
So here's where things can change a lot. Oh, okay. Squiddy got a pretty early key in room 41.
Club of Rooms, trash. That's all you need, you guys. That's like the main thing you should know is that the Club of Rooms are almost always major problems. I find that's a lot of places where it like runs have been set to die. Like you get a bad Club of Room, there's a high chance that you probably took a lot of damage in there. Like even when you get quick keys there, you're typically losing a decent amount of HP unless you got greatest layout of all time.
Mm-hmm. I'd say it seems pretty fine that both of them are gonna finish. Now it's like an actual race to the end. Like a lot of times you may get close to dying because you're running out of healing items, but they're both pretty good on healing items and points and stuff, so there's nothing really to worry about.
Squiddy still pulling up by about 4 rooms, roughly 4 rooms, but he's in a room that things can really like mess up and stuff. Where if he doesn't get the key from this guy, it's either the fact that it despawned.
It's always the one in the top right.
I always find it's like the guy in like the left middle. So Squiddy finishes this room. Unfortunately, he despawned the guy, so he didn't get to get the key from any of the guys. But this gives JCR a good opportunity to play a little bit of catch up.
Yeah, he also got good RNG in the club room. Seems like Squiddy's been having pretty bad RNG lately, so if JCR keeps getting good RNG, then things will equal out. It seems like it is going to equal out soon. Well, it really depends on how the next few rooms go, but I think he's only like 2 rooms behind now. But they could be 2 long rooms, so you can't really tell. Yeah, he's actually fairly caught up now. Depending on how this room goes, of course.
So, as you can see from the runs, these two have not been getting perfect RNG. They've been getting good RNG. They've been getting bad RNG. It's been balancing itself out, so the 2 runners aren't being completely left in the dust from one person getting insanely good RNG and the other one not getting that great of RNG.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good race. I think JCR is probably on PB pace, actually, by the looks of it. So yeah, he's still like 2-ish rooms behind, from what I can tell. Tyloid rooms can take a variant amount of time. Sometimes they could be really fast, sometimes they could take like almost a minute to clear out the whole room. It really depends.
Their hitboxes and their programming is like a little bit wonky in some places. Kind of like the choppers. That's the thing with this, a lot of the enemies in this game, that they were really poorly, very, very poorly coded. Or at least in my opinion, like the ninjas, like, I think they had a really bad algorithm for that. Not only the fact that if you just get the worst RNG patterns, you just can't kill them, but also the fact that their movement isn't anywhere near consistent. It doesn't just walk and jump around at all. It's just inconsistent and gross, and a lot of the things here just don't work. Also, that's a meme that JCR got a peach from the pink.
So Squiddy's in Club of Rim Part 2. This one's a lot less annoying, I find, but maybe I'm wrong. He got decent RNG. At least he's out of the room.
Or which room?
Sorry, you're cutting out on my side.
Sorry, I'm having my internet's not being the greatest right now. So,
okay.
Squiddy just got a hot sauce, which is one of those items that me and Flash were talking about earlier that can help you in rooms like room 98, there's so many items that can just be.
I think he's gonna
Really
use it for the Koopa Troll Room, actually. I think that's, like, the main strat. If you get, like, a Mighty Tonic or Hot Sauce, that saves a lot of struggle, because you one-shot Koopa Trolls, I believe. So it's really good.
Fortunately for both these runners, they got really, really, really poor RNG and weren't really able to do much about it.
Yeah, JCR is actually really low on health. He could die in 2 hits. What's good to know is no enemies do enough damage to kill him yet. Okay, he's just gonna heal. Oh, he has both of them? Wow, that's really good. I didn't know that. So he's on a pretty good pace, I'd say. I don't think quite PB pace, but he's definitely on pace to finish. Now we get to room 51, where there's, like, a free level up. Hopefully JCR gets there soon, since he's pretty low on health, but it looks like he'll get there before dying, at least. Okay, so oh, sorry. Go on.
Got much better RNG in the 40 to 50 rooms. It really can change from here, because Squiddy still isn't getting the greatest RNG, other than the fact that literally all the pigs were at the top of that room, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
Wait, what happened? I missed it, I think.
Squiddy just had, like, the greatest RNG in his entire life.
Oh, I unfortunately missed it. The stream was lagging for, like, a few seconds, so I think I missed it.
So, I think JCR messed up his grinding segment a little bit. He's still roughly 1,500 points away from that good old level up, but I think he should be fine. I believe JCR is playing a little bit safer now that we're in the pit.
Yeah, he's gonna level up in this room. Wait, actually, no, he won't. He'll level up in the next one, though.
Yeah, one more. So he leveled
okay.
up. Safe. He doesn't have to worry about healing anymore. Or at least not for a little while. So, Squiddy's in the dry bones room, which, dude, I had a really bad experience with them, where it was like, this one guy, I had to, like, approach him. Then I had to, like, then he would run towards me, and when he would place down Boomer, I place Boomer again, he runs too far, and etc. So, it's kind of just like, those are some of the more, like I said, I was talking about poorly programmed enemies, where, like, their, like, physics don't work the way they should work. Or maybe I'm just, like, maybe more thinking about preferences, but I'm pretty sure nobody likes that at all.
So soon there's gonna be a room where there's, like, crazy RNG, room 58. You can, like, get the key. If you get the key right away, you're gonna save, like, maybe, like, a couple minutes over the worst possible RNG.
Yeah,
depending on how you handle it, at least.
20 seconds if you know the good strats for that stuff.
Yeah, so there's an enemy, the Mazy Daisy, that does, like, 10 damage. And if you take, like, 1 hit, you might die, depending on your health. Usually it's about 2 hits to die from it.
They do exactly 10 damage. By the way you spell Mazy Daisy is M-A... I
don't even know, I just guessed. I spell it differently, like, every time, probably.
And it's just spelled D-A-Y.
Also, that was crazy RNG in that room. by Squiddy. Now we get onto Magiblots. They're really scary. But he has a good strat where he, like, puts them up against the wall. It's just, like, a consistent way to kill them without taking damage at all. No, I don't think he's gonna die. He's gonna level up in, like, 9,000 points. JCR is actually much lower. Was that because of room 51 not going well, or...?
And there were some other places that he kind of just lost a lot.
I see. So I think Squiddy is now, like, 5 rooms ahead, maybe?
See, this is like what me and Flash talked about earlier, how Squiddy has an advantage once they get into the pit, but it's still anyone's game.
Yeah, like, no matter how good you are at, like, the strats, like, you can just get crazy RNG and still win a race, so it's kind of fun. Like, you don't even have to really practice the category, and you could still get a good time if you just put enough time into doing runs, which I guess doing runs is practice, but you get what I mean.
Anyways, you're not gonna get like a you're not gonna be entering the pit at like an hour and then just get like the most crazy RNG and just world record. That's not the way this category works.
Yeah. Yeah, like, there's a lot of optimization. I think for real time, it could maybe be pushed to, like, 3 minutes if you're not counting, like, doing live stream jump in this category, which I don't see the point because you're gonna have to deal with pit RNG right after. So it's, like, kind of pointless. At least unless you want to go for, like, the God run and then you, like, only do LSJ and then accept only one run that gets good RNG, I guess. But that's also really annoying. JCR is in the Magiblot room now. It is very scary. There is a chance to die in this room if you don't do it good, or if, like, you get trolled.
So, unfortunately, JCR is not on the best pace right now, but I hope everyone's still having fun here. I hope it's not too frustrating for anyone. Really bad RNG.
Yeah, that has been really bad RNG in 50 to 60. I think that took like a 10-minute segment or something. That was really unfortunate. Maybe not that high, but that was really bad RNG.
I don't know if this is like a straight up opinion or an actual fact, but I feel like a lot of the greatest times in this games are hardcore carried by RNG. Like, there's so much RNG to this category that, like, it's either you get good RNG or you just have the most insane early game. Like, that's like the two. It's either, because I know typically everyone, including myself, never have a good like an actual pretty good early game.
I think it's mostly just whoever does the most runs will eventually get the best time. Just like how the RNG works. Obviously, there is a lot of skill involved, like killing enemies, but like you eventually get to the point where your run is mostly going to be based on RNG because you've practiced at all the strats and you're not going to mess them up too frequently. So it's basically just get the good RNG and you get a good time at that point. At least from what I see, I don't know the category way too well because it's actually my least practiced one.
This category is like, I feel like there's a lot of skill that people have put into this category, and I've seen all these skills, but I still feel like majority of runs that are below sub 130, including some of my own, were completely carried by RNG.
Yeah, but like obviously, you still need to be good to get that time.
But there's just like some parts that are rough. Also, JCR doesn't have any more heals.
Oh, oh my.
Situation. He still could be fine, but still looking pretty.
Yeah, I agree with what Mohawk said. That's really true. Like, no matter how good RNG you get, you're still probably your average time is going to go down the more runs you do. Also, this is looking not good for JCR, unfortunately. But he at least killed most of the enemies, so he should stay alive. It's just he's low on healing items, quite far from a level up. Squiddy's in the... I think they're called Robis or Jobis. I don't know which... I guess they're Grobis, one of them. I don't know the names.
And then
Oh, okay.
Javis. And then there's Gavis, I think. I might be thinking wrong.
Yeah. So here's the Cursia room. They're really easy to kill, so free points basically. Okay, yeah, they're about 10 rooms apart. JCR been having unfortunate luck, and he's pretty low on health with no healing items again, so it might be looking bad because there's some really hard rooms coming up.
This is when those pit percent skills come into play the most. You're trying to play fast, but you're also trying to play safe at the same time, if that makes any sense. Like, you're trying to, like, you're not trying to go as fast as you possibly can to get the greatest time of all. You're just trying to make sure you can get through it so you can still get a decent time.
Yeah, I think actually, like, most of this category is, like, skill at clearing enemies. Because, like, even if you're getting keys really fast, like, if someone can clear, like, 2 more enemies faster than you can clear... Or if they can clear enemies faster than you, they have a huge advantage and get a better time in the end. So it's more about, like, movement and, like, landing on enemies, killing them as fast as you can, basically. Not taking damage. Those are, like, the big parts. I wonder if, like, all enemies had the key in them, like, consistently had the key in them. I wonder what this category would be like. It'd be really interesting.
Would it pass? If anything. Like, if it was always you got first key, you'd consistently be doing Boomerless Pit, doing life stream stuff. You'd be doing basically any percent till 1 dash.
Yeah, that actually sounds awful. Squiddy's really low on health, actually. He has a few healing items, so he's likely okay. JCR is very close to that level up, thankfully, so he should probably be fine for a while. Okay, so I think... Yeah, this is another Magiblot room.
Another trash room, essentially. Like, for whatever reason, Magiblots at first spawn in very, very quickly and like, it's very quick, but like not all of them spawn very inconsistently at once. So sometimes you'll be like jumping the guys that did spawn, and then the guys that didn't spawn will spawn right behind you, and it can put you in a really stupid situation sometimes.
So JCR is in another scary room, but thankfully he's good on healing items, so he should be fine on it. I didn't catch what room number Squiddy is on. I'm not sure. I think it's like 70 something, high 70s maybe, or 80s. I'm not sure really, or maybe actually 90s. I haven't been paying attention to room count. Okay, like 79. Okay.
I mean, if you were in the 90s, that'd keep you on board record base.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, because 120... Yeah, it takes like 4 minutes to kill Fractale, if I remember, or Ractale, if I remember, so... Yeah, they're both not really on the greatest paces, unfortunately.
Sorry, my bad. It's like 3 minutes and 2 seconds to kill Ractale.
Oh, okay.
Fire Burst, which both the runners have at the moment, I believe.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna actually have to like head out in 5 minutes because my laptop battery is going to die, unfortunately, soon. So
Man.
yeah, that's
I
pretty
can-
unfortunate. But yeah, at least I was here for most of the pit.
Thank you for helping me commentate, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm dying right now.
But yeah, I'll stick around until my laptop battery dies. Anyway, Squiddy is in probably the worst room, I'd say. Sometimes like the Magi blocks can get stuck in 3D. I have no idea why, but a lot and you just lose a lot of time.
Talk in 3D, but like, they're like, okay, so whenever they hit you when you're not flipped, they go back into 3D. Or at least I'm pretty sure on that one. I might be wrong, but like, so in this, trying to think, so when you go into 3D, they spawn in they spawn into the second dimension. So there's no, so, or at least after a couple seconds when you flip. So you flip, they're there, and then they're gone in about a second, and then that's when you have your opportunity to kill them if you're close enough.
All right, so now we're on to like the I don't know I don't know what their names are. I guess Schlorps, I think. So the strategy in this room is to kill all this. I don't know what they're called either. I don't know a lot of the enemies in this
Yeah.
game, but the spinning things. You kill them first, and then you kill the Schlorps. Unfortunately, Squiddy is getting pretty bad RNG here. I think that's last key. I don't know if there's like enemies in the top right or anything. Yeah, okay.
So what should do is they should make like a chart of what enemies are in which room on what floor and such, and like all the possible, or maybe not all the possible setups you can have for them. But
yeah, I had like a decent write-up for most of the pit rooms. That most of the ones that matter, and they weren't like squiglets because those are really easy to kill. I wrote down most of the rooms. I haven't really utilized that much yet because I've only done like a couple runs since I've improved a lot at this game. So Squiddy is using a last resort healing item, basically. This is the long last shake. It takes so long to use, so usually you never use it unless you have to.
it's also in the name. It's long.
Yeah, thankfully he has a Mighty Tonic, so this room should go by easily as long as he doesn't get hit too many times. I think long last shakes heal 20 HP, maybe even more. I'm not sure.
Though typically whenever I use a long last shake, it doesn't last that long. Like I'll go in, use my long last shake, and then by the time it's done healing me, I've already lost more HP than I've gained. So I just don't find a point in doing that. So I know if I'm like not consistent healing, I'll play safer and I'll just play better that way. So these Chromabas that were in the same room as Squiddy was, be a pain. Like a lot of times they'll float up and then they'll float down, and then like they're just in a place. They're never in the right place at the right time. Always just the wrong place at the wrong time. It's just one of those things. Also, going to room 90 in like the 90s and the 80s, this game's just like, okay. Or the programmer or the designers are just like, okay, let's put as many ninjas as we possibly can in them. Which, bad idea. Nobody likes ninjas. Whoever thought of them, please delete yourself from the programmer's list, or the game design list, and never talk to me again. Because that's how I truly feel. So, JCR is pulling out some strats here. He dealt with Magiballs really consistently. So, as me and Flash talked about earlier, in this Headball Goomba room, we're gonna be using this Shell Shock, and we're gonna use it to gain tons of points and a singular level up. If he was at the top, he could have gone another level up too, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to be at the very top. So JCR is only 5 rooms behind. He can still technically make this up if everything goes decent. It really does not take too much. Just hope he can get some decent RNG to catch up. This race is looking a lot closer than it looks, though it might be. It's probably over for JCR. So something about poison that I've always found a little stupid is that you don't have invincibility frames after getting hit by poison. So if you take poison damage and you get hit, like not even like right after, you will still take damage. So, like I said, the game was just the designers thought ninjas were a good idea, so they kept on putting in that room that Squiddy was in. Also, this room that Squiddy is in right now with the Skelebits. I actually think those are decent enemies. They're not like extremely stupid, but they're not like the easiest enemy in the game, like Goombas and such. Very creative enemies, in my opinion. So Squiddy's popping off. He's got an Ice Storm and a Super Shroom Shake in this room. Which, even though he got pretty bad RNG, he is still made up for those items still made up for the fact that he got kind of destroyed by bad luck. So this Firebro room, I don't think anybody actually likes it because inconsistent. They jump around like they're donkeys or something. I don't know. They jump around like they're trying to murder something. So this room is full of Skelebits. Skelebits are an enemy for sure. They're spiked ones, and there is also those are just normal ones. Spiked ones are typically just worse than the normal ones because not only do they have a spear now, but they also have an actual like spike in the middle of their head, which I always found it kind of goofy. I like to kind of think of them like the emos of this game. Kind of funny to think about, to be honest. So Squiddy just beat the hardest room. Room 97. He almost died. It's one of the hardest rooms in the game. That's like big run killer. Every run, dude. So you gotta like watch out for that room. So as we've been talking about throughout the entire run, Room 98, he has an Ice Storm, which made this whole thing so much easier for him. So, fortunately, he got another heal, and he got this key right here. So he's gonna enter this room, which is the final room, which is gonna have magic blots, inconsistent magic blots. He's roughly 10 rooms ahead of JCR, but I just want to say good job to all these runners for doing this great, getting this far, and yeah. I want to give a big congratulations to Squiddy for making it all the way to room 100. It's a big thing to do in a big marathon setting like this. JCR has taken a much safer approach to these fights right here, so he doesn't die. So, what Squiddy's gonna do here is gonna be doing the same thing as Fractal, basically, except this time, Fractal's gonna take 10 hits instead of just 3. Once he gets on Ractail, he's gonna use his Fire Burst, hit his antenna, or hit her antenna. I don't know. But like, he's gonna use it to hit the antenna, and then he's gonna use Peach to float across and jump onto the antenna, so he doesn't have to use Fire Bursts anymore, and he doesn't have to throw the guys either. So there's still a bit of run left. Squiddy can still have one mess up or 2 mess ups, either one, but he should be fine unless something goes extremely wrong. So as you can see, he got onto Ractail's antenna, so he should be safe now. So, there we go. Squiddy wraps up the Pit of 100 trials. Congratulations to GamerSquiddy for winning this match. So, JCR, I want to give a GG to him too. He's doing good. He made this a pretty close race. Just not everything went a good way for him. So, JCR is in room 98. I believe I saw him pick up a Thunder Rage or an Ice Storm, either one, around here. Yes, a Power Block. So, he's gonna use it, hit these guys. Sometimes these guys are kind of trolls, and it just doesn't work. So, Fire Burst actually don't work on these guys. Power Blocks are honestly just stupid for these guys. They just don't work. So, JCR has to use Bloomer here, which takes 4 hits. Kind of slow, but he's still doing good. So, let's give JCR a big less RNG so that he can get this done quickly. But JCR can still pull this off. He can still pull off a sub 140. which is good. Sub 140 is a great time. So JCR is getting to Fractail here. He's gonna be using the same strats as he is for Fractail, I believe. I'm pretty sure he's on PB pace. He's going to finish this run. So let's give JCR our best. Give him some good luck. We'll stop Squiddy. So huge GG's to finishing both their runs. I'm really glad they're both able to finish. Because finishing a pit percent run is always a GG on its own. Finishing a run, always good. Always good to get done. Always fun. That might be a bit of a stretch, but it's always cool to see runners finish in a big tournament and race like this. So he's going to be doing the same strategy as Squiddy. He's going to use the Fire Burst, and then he's going to be using Peach to glide onto his antenna. So unfortunately, he missed the first jump. It's okay. He's still able to finish, which is nice. It's good to see that the run is still continuable, even though he fell. And that's kind of a thing with this run, is that there's no way you can't continue. There's no soft fog. There's no something that you absolutely need, or else you can't finish a run. So he's just gonna keep throwing these things, and he's just gonna keep on going. So fortunately, he hit the antenna this time. So massive GG's to JCR. Congratulations to both runners for finishing, and congratulations to JCR on the sub 140 personal best, or in other words, PB. That peanut butter and jam. So, Flash, could you help me wrap this up?